Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into my Airborne Entrepreneur podcast. I have a special guest with me today. Hey,
Hey Alex, how
Kyle.
you going?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so happy I have you. I'm really glad that you find some time.
Yes, yes.
And I will probably don't try to pronounce your surname because I just found out I was thinking that you're a kind of spy,
Spy. Yes.
but he can probably tell you what is.
Spyrides. So that's how it's spelt, and but it's actually Spyrides. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people go Spyrides. It's not a real name, is it? That can't be true.
Yeah,
So
that was just happening right now.
yeah, that's where we went into. Really
Yeah.
went into the name.
Really funny. I was like, yeah, Spyrides. You made it up. I was like, yeah, he made it up. Okay, that's probably some artist name.
Yeah. Exactly. Like you see those actors, and they all have like
Yeah,
their made
yeah,
up names.
that's
So
what I thought.
yeah. I'm Spyrides.
Now it's clear. I'm so happy.
Yeah. No, it's good. We've got
Yeah.
it clearly. Yeah, it's a hard one. In Greek names, you'll notice they always end with a es or an os.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, everyone trips up when I say my name.
good. That means I'm not alone.
Yes, yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, I invited Kyle because I met him actually on photo shooting, and he was very interesting because he's not only photographer, videographer, and with his artistic soul, but he also actually is doing a lot of other things that I will try to discover today
yes, yeah.
in our podcast. And I would like to probably ask you first if you can just tell us something about you, who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I guess to my core, I'm someone who's all about trying to make my life better, make other people's lives better, and just in every moment I have, trying to do that, trying to come back to that point, that source point. So yeah, and I think with photography and being creative and those sorts of things, a lot of that get that I can tap into that. But yeah, I think the things that we're going to talk about is where my true alignment in what I want to do kind of comes into play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Because you can use probably you can express yourself through, I believe, through photography or
yep,
videography, and it can be kind of vehicle to take you somewhere where you want.
yep.
And I don't know how long actually have you been in photography?
So I've been in photography for about 6 years,
Okay,
and I've had my business for about that time, 5 years.
okay,
And yeah, no, you're right. It definitely allows you to meet a lot of people and allows you to connect
yeah,
with people. And that's the big thing because my business is soul gazing photography, and it's all about capturing the souls.
yeah,
When I started off, I just had my family around me, and my project was to just capture portraits of everyone. And I would sit down with each person for about 2 hours and just chat to them and just talk to them. And eventually, I noticed there was this point where there'd be this split second, and you kind of see their soul, you kind of see their essence. So whether it was my grandfather and he was talking, laughing, he was a bit of a larrikin, joking, and he'd look out the window, and then you'd see him in his like full essence, like that's him, the observer, the architect. That's Clivey. And then my cousin, who's a teenager, like they have a lot more guards up, and so it took a long while to get to
yeah.
a core, but eventually you get to this moment where they're in pause, and you kind of, I believe, you capture their soul. Yeah.
That's
So
interesting. I
yeah,
really like it.
yeah. So that's my biggest thing.
I like when you said that you try to capture the soul because I believe photography is about something else, just to like capture something that you see, but it's something that is inside, that you actually express something, and people can actually feel something when they see the photo. And
Yes.
I love that. That's really amazing
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of artists like that, like usually it's just like commercial pictures, or I will take a picture of you, but
Yeah.
it's not real. And sometimes you can see the pictures that people try to do the portrait,
Mm.
but the picture is so cold. It just
Yeah.
doesn't have anything in no sense, like you said.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But okay, let's dive into your like life before.
Yes.
What was before? Because I don't know. I know you only as a photographer and
Yeah.
other things. We will talk about it. But I'm curious, what was happening before?
So awesome. Yeah. I mean, I love diving a bit deeper. So I guess it's my turn to try and to scratch up something from before. I guess my life started off when I was very young. I came from South Africa to Australia. I was born in South Africa when I was 2, and my mother brought me over to Australia. Grew up in Bondi, so this sort of epicenter of
Nice.
and what Australia is known. So, and it was more of a town back then than a big, gigantic, busy, packed out city. And yeah, I grew up there for a few years. and it was me, my mother, and like her new husband. And eventually we went to Ireland when I was about 8 and lived in Ireland for about 2 years. And then me and my mother came back to Australia, and we stayed with his parents. So it's quite a confusing story, but basically I wasn't related to these grandparents, but they became my family. These Australian grandparents, the cousins,
Awesome.
aunties, uncles, everyone just became my family, and they all said, you know, Carl, we look at you as family. We don't look at you as
Yeah.
that strange boy from another land, you know.
That's beautiful. That means you just adopted a new family here.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's win-win.
Okay, I didn't know actually there was South Africa.
Yep.
There was
When
Australia. Oh yeah, that was the
Yeah.
first. Have you been actually in Greece? Because you said your name is
yeah,
Greek, and now I'm confused because I didn't hear.
yeah. See, that's the thing. It's I don't usually dive too deep into my story because it's very confusing, and it's like,
Oh, okay, that was
how did you
another
end up-
country. Okay.
Yeah. But no, well, I mean, just even the family, like how, yeah. But Greece, I was born in South Africa. My father's parents were born in Cyprus, and that's where the Greek heritage comes
Okay.
from. That's
Got
why
it.
I look like a big Greek, you know, and that's where. But yeah, I've been back once in a holiday,
Nice.
but yeah, I've kind of
Do you like it?
I love it.
Of course.
I'd love to go back to Cyprus, and yeah, I'd love to go and just
Beautiful.
spend some time in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greece is beautiful. I agree.
Yeah,
And what did
you're
you?
from that beautiful part of the world yourself.
Yeah, close to. Yeah, close
Yes.
by.
Yeah,
Yeah, Slovakia. It's
Yeah.
still you still need to travel a little bit. Usually to Greece is I think 2 hours flight, but
wow.
yeah, Croatia is basically 500 kilometers
Yeah,
by car. Easy.
yeah, beautiful part of the
Yeah,
world.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask what actually you did, or what was kind of like, I don't know, you probably study, but after study, what was something that you wanted to do? Because I believe you didn't start as a photographer.
No. So I guess you know, finished school, went through that whole period, and I actually got quite sick about 2 months after I finished school. Kind of got put into a induced coma, and it was going to go either way, and so that kind of consumed a lot of my young life. You know, got better like over the course of a year, and in that year I went and studied environmental science because
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
well, I
That's far away from photography.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, but I didn't complete the course. I went down to Albury Wodonga, so it's on the border of New South Wales and
Yeah.
Victoria. Beautiful country town, absolutely lovely. And yeah, I went down there, stayed with some family friends, and then stayed on campus and studied environmental science for about 6 months as I was trying to work out what I was going to do for my life. Came back up to Sydney, got through all my health stuff, sorted all that, got that all G.
That's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Probably, if I may ask, like how long have you been in coma?
I was in the coma for a couple of days. So I got rushed into the hospital, and they kind of left me down the bottom area, and I said to the nurse, like, oh, I can't pee, I can't excrete anything, you know, and that's the alarm bells because that means your organs are failing. So she said, you know, she looked at my report and she's like, why are you here? You know, you're supposed to be straight through ICU. And then they took me through all these tests, and then, you know, the doctor said at one point, Carl, we're going to put you to sleep now, and yeah, don't worry about it. And so there I
Wow.
was, you know, in a coma
Yeah.
and induced coma for I think about half a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I woke up the other side.
Yeah. Did you have any experience? Do you remember something? I'm sorry, I'm really curious about that because
Yeah.
I think it's...
Well, look, I mean, I don't know how deep I'm going to go into everything, but because it does cut deep. But yeah, I've been put into, because I've had surgeries later on, I've been put into like quite a few hour-long sleeps, and yeah, I don't remember anything, to be honest. It's literally
Okay.
like you enter a black hole. I remember when you get sick before you go, like as I was sick, my peripheral vision started to close and everything started to fade and get darker around me. And then, yeah, he just hit a button and pretty much hit a button and you're out. But I do remember waking up and the you know how hospital food is. There's a bit of Wheat Pix. They gave me a bit of Wheat Pix. I had a bite and I was wearing my nightgown and I just puked it on my nightgown and I just thought, oh, this is a new low. This is a new low. So I've had Yeah.
That's how life started.
Yeah, that's how that was 18. That was living life at 18. So I mean, I guess I went through all those experiences and they taught me a lot of things. But then after I did the study and everything, I decided to go to Europe for about 7 months and travel because I was like,
Yeah.
I need to
You
have that
were you were
18-year-old time.
searching, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like I'm looking for something.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah,
I think I always said everyone after high school should go travel at least for half a year,
yeah,
just to really go and just to see and discover and get to know other cultures. I think it's
yes,
so important. I believe that probably help you to have all those ideas and
yeah,
creativity.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And I think that's a big part of me is people and connection and going to Europe and going to these different cultures,
Yeah.
getting influenced by the Spanish culture and the Italian
Yeah.
culture and
Awesome.
and the Irish. Like I remember just looking at Irish people and going, oh, these people are always so jolly and so happy and and yeah. So I think that really did help me out in my life, and I think I'd suggest to any young person to when you can
Yeah.
travel and go travel as much as you can and get out there into the world because your world is so mono. It's so one dimensional when you come out of school and that's all your experiences, and so then
Yeah.
then it's kind of like, all right, now you're out into the world and you're like, oh, well, where do I go? What direction?
Yeah,
Where do you point
exactly.
me?
And I think also that just to make the decision, like where I'm going, what I'm going to see,
Yeah,
or what actually I want to do, where I want to go.
yeah,
It's kind of like first questions that you ask after school. Like I can actually do whatever I want. Sometimes
yeah,
I can choose, and I guess that's something that teachers are not teaching us in a
yes,
school
yeah,
because you can't really say a lot of your opinions. You're always kind of shut down, and the
yeah,
school system is basically doing opposite to kids. They're kind of stopping them and squeezing them.
yes,
And if we don't grow as a young kids, we just probably need to follow. I would say we just follow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
And
those schools up in the northern parts of Europe that just seem to go let the kids climb on trees, let the
yeah.
kids like let the kids express themselves a little bit more
Yeah.
open.
That's so funny that you mentioned that because I spoke with my friend in Croatia yesterday,
Yeah,
and she actually mentioned because we were talking about different schooling and different education,
yeah,
and she mentioned because I told her about a few different schools, like when you actually like I think it's Montessori or like some
yes,
kind of
yeah. I
style,
love that style.
and there is another one, and she mentioned the name I can't remember, but she was like they kind of like kids can choose when they're going to school. If
Yeah,
they don't want to go every day to school, they don't need to go. They choose the like what subject they want to study, and it's kind of like it's not pushed. It's like what you want, you choose. And she said there's a lot of really like geniuses coming out from the school because they
yeah,
actually can work on something they really like and
yeah,
they enjoy,
yeah,
and the style of the learning. Like sometimes kids can't learn
yeah.
something when professor is talking about that or teacher.
Mm.
They can learn from pictures, from activity, and that's
Mm.
just such a tiny amount
Yeah,
of people or teachers doing that. That's another big conversation, but I'm not going to go away
yeah.
from you today because it's something that probably I'll probably ask or I will reveal the surprise
Yes,
because
yeah,
there
yes.
is something else
Yep.
about Kyle, and he's actually writing the book,
Yes,
and
yes,
I
I
would like
am. Yes, I am.
and I would like to know more about that because I don't know much. And
Yep.
it's kind of like a secret, and
Yeah.
I would love to be the person that can bring the book to you, and
Yeah, thank
Kyle
you.
will talk about that.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, Alex. And this is the first time I guess I've really spoken out about
Yes,
it and shared it.
yes.
So you're
We are
numero
first,
uno.
guys. You're first.
Yes, you heard it here first. You can come back to this place. Yeah, no, I guess I've been thinking about writing a book for quite a long time, and throughout writing this book, I actually went back, the other day. A beautiful thing about journaling and writing for anybody is that you will connect memories and moments like in your life earlier on. And I realized that, or I remembered that when I was very early teens, I was writing a little comic book series, and it was called Rice Man, and it was like based off Captain Underpants. I don't know if you've ever heard of Captain Underpants, but it's basically this guy in underpants. He's bold, and he goes out and he saves the world somehow. And
Awesome.
so he was my hero, which is it's a funny makeup of a hero compared to Hollywood movies. So it was
No, it's pretty good one. It's
yeah,
definitely different.
yeah, exactly, different, unique, and yeah, and it obviously stuck with me. And so you have those moments and you don't realize, but when you start to write, you kind of when you're writing a book, you have to kind of go deep into that.
Yeah.
especially because I'm writing a memoir, and that's basically what it is. It's a memoir about my life experiences, some of the challenges that I faced, some of the hardships, some of the wrong decisions I made, and all the people in my life that helped inspire me to make the right choices, to change and to become the best version of myself. So that's
That's
probably,
beautiful.
yeah.
That means you kind of like share the story, and with your story you try to tell maybe young people, I don't know, who's your audience, that actually what they can maybe avoid, or
Yeah.
what is the situation like, what decision can they can make maybe better. Is that something
Yes.
that you would like to?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like the best audience is the audience that, you are fostered from. And
Yeah,
that time I'm talking about is, from maybe 18, and I'm 27 now, so 18 to 30 roughly. And, I've got a few, I guess, people that I know that, my half brother that's 18, and a cousin who's 22, and someone else who's
yeah,
27. And I can kind of write and think about, okay, if I was writing a book and sharing some of my story and some of my experiences and some helpful tips, how would I write this for them? Um, and you were talking about education earlier, and I think it's really important to see what value you can share and what you can do to add to the world and help people out, because there's institutions, there's ways people have been doing it for a long time, but it doesn't necessarily
yeah,
mean it's the right way. People have so many different ways of learning. You've got visual, auditory, you've got kinesthetic, you've got all these
yeah,
ways of learning, and we're only teaching people one way. So if I've got anything I can impart, that would be the greatest gift to
yeah.
me.
That means you're delivering your book to all auditory,
Yes,
kinesthetic, yeah,
yes,
audio, visual,
yes,
audio.
exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Because I'm thinking about that. It's the same thing basically in coaching. Like when we want to actually start to build up some deeper connection with client and help them unlock the limiting beliefs, or anything they really need to move ahead in their life, and something is stopping them. You definitely need to know how to talk to them. And I love that you say that, because is so important when we have even conversation in partnership, when you have just husband and wife.
yeah,
If they don't understand the language, and they don't understand how that other person can understand what they're saying, it's
yes,
just so hard. And you can see sometimes, when you know already what we're talking about, you can see people and they're just like bulls, they just kind of can't get
yep,
through, and
yep.
you're just watching them, like it's just like one tweak, it's just like one word. When you will say it differently, they will be all good.
Yeah, yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%. And you also, when you don't understand the language, so whether it's like business language, or advertising language, or someone else's foreign
yeah,
language, when you don't understand it, you will judge it, and people naturally will judge it and
yeah,
go, oh, that's that business talk, that's that photography, hoopla, that's that sort of stuff. So I think the one thing that I'd suggest to everybody is just be really curious in your life. Just keep that curiosity, keep
that's
asking
right.
questions, like your whole life, because otherwise you're just cutting yourself off of all these amazing life experiences you could have.
Yeah, that's so good. That's such a great point. And I will actually go to that a little bit, because you mentioned judgment and comparison. And that's what I'm always saying, even in my courses. I was like, people, you need to listen. It's
Yes.
judgment and comparison are
Yeah.
suffering.
Yeah.
It's stopping you, and it's creating negative emotions. That means you're sad, you're frustrated, or you're irritated. When you just know that it's you, and you're individual, you're great how you are. When you stop, comparing yourself with other people, I think that's a huge step
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
You probably know, because you're talking about that.
Yeah.
Because I saw so many people just saying like, no, I can't do it, because like he's better, or he's further, or if somebody's already experienced, or like your idol, like someone that you want to
Yeah.
model, probably. That of course, when you're young, you're 27, that someone, maybe your idol will be 58, or
Yeah.
maybe 45, I don't know. And when you think about that, they were at the beginning, they
Yeah.
were sometimes 20 and
Yes.
27, and people forget that. They
Yeah.
usually like, oh, he's much better, I can't chase that.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, like don't compare your life now and your life now.
Yeah.
Just take the journey,
Yes. Yeah.
and take that journey step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And enjoy it as you're going
yeah,
along. We see so many segments of people's lives. We see the 20-second advertisement and this, and we see all the best bits about
yeah,
them, but we don't know the amount of hours and the amount of
exactly.
hardships, and even maybe at a point they were judgmental and they were opinionated and they made wrong decisions. And like, we can all say that we've all been, I guess, judgmental at a time, or made wrong decisions, or blocked off things. But it's all about understanding that side of you and learning, who do you want to be, how
Yeah,
can you overcome that, and what are those things that are kind of triggering you to come back to that judgmental point.
Yeah, that's a good one. What is
Yeah.
triggering you?
Triggering me. I guess I like to think that it all comes back to emotional. I think people, like, we're emotional beings, and I think that's when you look at, say, something like jealousy, or like looking at someone like who's 40 and they're incredible, they've got everything, and you're jealous. What is that telling you? It's telling you that there's something inside you that is moving you emotionally towards what that person has. So maybe it's a reflection. You're going, I want that myself, or I'd love to have that in my life, or why am I not better? Why can't I be better? And it all comes back to yourself, and looking yourself in the mirror. I think it's something that I've been working on a long time, and just having like extreme ownership over my life. And books are great, listening to great people, listening to great mentors, and just trying not to be too judgmental about certain things. I think if people are neglecting being kind, that's something that I can be a bit harsh. Judgmental.
Yeah, it's definitely. And when you say about jealousy as well, I think it's we have so many images in our head, and I always say that it's so dangerous to keep things in your head that you don't want, because our unconscious mind doesn't know. They can't say like, oh, that's something that she wants or doesn't want.
Yeah.
That means we don't do difference, That means if you want something, just imagine always the nice things for yourself.
Yeah.
And that way your kind of body and energy will drag you into that. Because jealousy is negative emotion, and it's really bad, and it's coming from thoughts. Like I always say, people just think about like a second before when you feel jealous. Like what happened second before? What you were thinking about? Because that's that trigger, is that thought. And that's why I was asking, like, what is triggering you? If there is something that you see, or people say, and it's triggering you, because they're interesting things to find out.
Yeah. I think and you're right, and you can like hold yourself just before you go into it. And I think with me, if I'm looking at someone and going, they're not being kind, they're not being sharing, they're not being generous, maybe I always like to think that it's a reflection in yourself, and you're going, oh, maybe I could be a bit kinder, maybe I could be a bit
better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of working out, and it's not going, everyone has to be Mother Teresa, or everyone has to be this level of kind. It's working out where your level is, because we all have our own parameters and our own levels of, this is the amount of kindness I want to be, and this is the amount of kindness I am, and it's about filling that gap.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned Mother Teresa, because she was a businesswoman. Basically, she was just a businesswoman.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And people just always say, like something, she was definitely a special lady.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what she has done. But also her drive was mostly business, because she was really good in that.
Yeah, exactly. She's a problem solver, and she had nowhere to get what
exactly.
from to get. Yeah.
And I love that what you're saying. That means with your book, you said that you want to kind of like share, some good things for people. You want to help people. Probably there's something that I want to ask, like why or how that feeling came up that you feel like you want to help with your book. Like,
I think, it's a good question, and these are good questions you're firing off. I mean, trying to go as deep as I can here.
Just go. Yeah.
Just go right to the center. Right to the core. I think I was looking at, I guess, my life and looking at what I'm doing now, and I think this year 2020 vision, it's a big year for kind of interest, like looking into your life and kind of mapping everything out and seeing where you are and where you fit into the whole world. And I was doing a bit of that, bit of soul searching. And
awesome.
Just trying to work out, I keep asking myself the question, am I living in complete alignment with who I am, with why I came onto this world, and with what I can be in this world? And I constantly had to ask myself the question and work it out in my head, work it out by writing it down, and just see and go, actually, no, I want to be able to give, I want to be able to inspire, I want to be able to help other people improve their lives. And for a 27-year-old person, I've had quite a big experience, both good and bad, whether you take that as good or as bad, but I've had a lot of experience that I might be able to impart on someone, who's a younger person.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing, because everyone has some kind of experiences that can be transformed into, into book or some kind of guidance, I guess, for life.
Yeah.
And what is important for you? Or to you? Maybe better questions.
Making a positive difference whilst I'm here on this earth. that's really important.
Yeah. Okay. That's really nice. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, it's look, it's changing people's lives and embracing every single heartbeat that I have. And
Listen, people.
yes, yeah, yeah. Where's the Kleenex? Yeah, just embracing every single heartbeat. So, you know, if you're entrepreneurial, if you're a business person, if you're motivated, you know, it's a journey. It's kind of life amped up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's your life experience, but it's not, you know, just 9 to 5. It's everything amped up because there's so many
Yeah,
more
it's
things
so
going on.
different.
Yeah, so it's like life under a microscope. So when you look at it and you kind of go your daily things, and you go, oh, I had energy and then now I don't, and now I'm feeling like I just want to put my feet up, and now I'm going through this mood. So you have a lot of emotions going
You
on, and
have
you can
to
manage.
manage. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, what I've been working on really lately is just trying to live in alignment with that purpose and manage those emotions, manage those feelings, manage my purpose as I'm going along. But
Yeah.
if I can change people's lives for the better, if I can improve people, I mean, I had some angels come into my life and really do some serious repair work on
Awesome.
on my character, on my health, on my very heart, and so I've had a lot of help, and I think I really believe pay it forward. Learn, practice, teach. Do
Yeah.
that in your life. That's really important.
And that's amazing actually. I didn't have any kind of dream about teaching, but
Yeah.
when I started to do a lot of personal development, and that's what you do probably, like that
Yeah.
even like a soul mapping and all that stuff is you grow every day. You have insights, you have experiences and breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And it will be so sad that you can't share it and
Yeah.
maybe tell people how to do it, because everyone can do it. Small things in mindset, when you shift a little bit, your life can change forever.
Yeah.
And it's so important. And I'm always happy when it's another person that wants to
Yes.
tell these stories and
Yep.
and help the world, because I think people definitely needs more people like you. That's for
Oh,
sure.
thank you. That's very sweet. I think
And
it's the messages that people
yeah,
need this messaging
yeah, exactly.
articulated from different people in different ways. And that's the thing where you might listen to a book and you might listen to a few people and go, oh, I've heard these theories, I've heard these ideas before, but I might listen to 3 people and one person strikes me to my core.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's same thing with podcasts. Like I'm doing podcasts and I'm not expecting everyone will listen, because some people can be annoyed, some people don't like it. Some people don't like the topics. Some people love it. And I have so many different comments coming, and it's very visible, like always said, even I think we have 300, 400 people, listeners. It's not big, it's not big audience, but it's still nice that there's only a few people on a planet, but they are still there and they listen, and maybe one sentence from you today can change their life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of doing these things. Sometimes we are tired, we don't want to record sometimes, it's just that like you don't always have energy, but we know that is something small we can do. That's amazing. And with values, or when I ask like what is important to you, because when you said that you kind of even need to manage yourself because you're entrepreneur and you do a lot of stuff for yourself, and also you study and you're writing the book, it's a lot of things to do around. Did you do any kind of exploration of your like values, like a core values, like what is really important to you, like experience in your day or in your life?
I guess through writing the book, there's 7 sections around it, and that's kind of emulates the core values. And that when I was trying to map out the book, because how it started is I was just free writing.
Yeah.
But then I kind of went and did a course and kind of learned a bit more. And okay, you need to have sections about your book.
Yeah.
And so those sections kind of made me look into my values. And yeah, I think that's something that's really important to have in your life. Whether that's whether they become your affirmations every morning when you get up, whether they're just something you have as a poster note. I mean, I've got lots of poster notes around my house. That's probably a big thing. I love philosophy, and I love Marcus Aurelius, Seneca. I love a lot of Greek and historical philosophy.
Oh, you have them a lot in Greece.
Yes, yeah. I guess probably it's in my blood.
Going, definitely.
Somewhere down there. But yeah, no, I think learning from a lot of those things, putting poster notes up, ripping that one down when it doesn't apply anymore, and just slowly you kind of culling your principal values. And that would be, like you said, mindset's amazing. Mindset can make anybody, any listener, any person watching, anybody who hears the words from me, from you, from anybody, it can make them become a superhuman, make them have a
Yeah,
superpower. It's just this incredible
exactly.
thing. You'll have energy that you didn't think you had. You'll have
I agree.
power. You'll have so much.
That's really right what he's saying.
Yeah, yeah, and
So good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you can listen to. We all know negativity and extremely negative people, and you can listen to someone, but your mindset has shifted, and you have this like glass up where you can listen to them, you can be empathetic, you can care, but you're also not being affected and dragged down. So it's a superpower.
I will tap into that because
Yeah,
it is actually superpower. And I'm happy when you started to talk about it a little bit deeper because I had experience last when was it 3 months ago when I started one course. And it was interesting because I got videos, like a small short recordings from Sydney Banks.
yeah,
And first 10 minutes, because I think they have 10-15 minutes, and it's like, I don't know, it's probably like 20 small videos.
yeah,
And I started to listen to that because my coach said, like you need to listen to this.
yeah,
And I was like, I can't listen to that. And I
yeah,
was coming back to him and I said, I just can't listen to that. Like, it makes me angry.
yeah,
And he was like, well, just listen to that. And I was like, no, I can't listen to that.
yeah,
And I was coming all the time like, look, he's just talking some, things that don't make sense.
yeah, yeah.
And I said, it's too much. It's like, it's
Yes.
too spiritual.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not that person.
yeah, yeah.
And I was just going back to him. He was just laughing. He was like, just try to listen beyond the words. And that was
Yeah.
that guy, he said that in video.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was just listening. I was like, you know what? Okay. It's like, let's put away all thoughts. And I stopped to blaming him, comparing him. I stopped to judge him. Everything what he said, I said, okay, I'm going to listen with not agreement or disagreement. Just listen. Just really deeply listen. If I can actually, if something can land. It was so strange because that was like everything changed. I was just listening and I actually hear.
Yeah.
I heard sentences when he said something. I was like, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
he's right. And I had huge breakthrough just through listening to videos of someone that I couldn't even stand. I was like, no, I will never listen to that.
Yeah.
And when I started to really not judging, no comparison, no blaming, don't think about him anything bad, because that's what we do. We're going to workshops, we're going to any speaker. You will be speaking in front of the audience and you will have audience coming, first thing is like, oh yeah, I hope he's going to say something nice because I'm going to spend my time here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you need to kind of, build a rapport with your audience. But also a lot of people in the audience are like, oh, yeah, I hear this 1,000,000 times, oh, I already know that, what I'm doing here. And they already kind of judge and they don't allow themselves to actually get some knowledge or maybe get some breakthrough or get something actually from that workshop that because I'm sure every workshop is there for something, to give you something. And we just blocking ourselves.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that. I saw that and I was like, I'm never going to block myself.
Yeah.
It's just so important.
I love what you're talking about there. It's so true. And I think when you're like, you're an authentic person, and when you're living authentic, you can share these things, and those things might be able to help other people kind of realize what, and I think you're right. When you go to workshops and when you're in that state of being, I think it's all about the state of being. You're in that state of being. I'm here. They owe me something. This owes me something. I can't be bothered. I've got too much on.
Yeah, exactly.
That whole state of being, it's like, Jesus, when you actually look at it from a higher ground and go, who wants to be in that freaking state of being? Try just being grateful. Just be grateful. Like, wow, like and I think a big point in my book is there are so many people out there in this world that started off with much, much less than you and are doing far, far greater with what they have. And that's something that has, and look, you don't have to put that pressure on you, but you just have to kind of understand why, how. And the biggest thing that comes back to for me is we getting in our own way more than anything.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest problem. We get in our own way with who we're listening to, with what we're deciding and those sorts of things. And I think if you can live in a grateful state of being, you open yourself up to the world.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's so, again, it's getting some kind of cliche because people are like, oh yeah, everybody's telling me that I have to be grateful. And, I'm sitting at home in the morning doing my journal. I'm thinking, okay, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for something. And this is what I always say to my clients. It's not about to just write down all things that you're grateful for. It's to feel it.
Yeah.
Start to feel it. Start to really think. Yeah. It's not just like you need to name the things that you have. Like I'm grateful for my phone, for my car.
Yeah.
Just be grateful honestly. Like start to be really honest to yourself and sit down and because that was change for me as well, because I didn't understand gratefulness, exercise, but I
Yeah.
started to think about that, like I want to feel like that I'm grateful, like I really want to have that feeling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's when you really bring that awareness, like what you are really grateful for. Like doesn't need to be a thing.
Yeah.
Can be just that you have option to actually do some personal development and actually
Yeah.
growth,
Yeah.
or meet people, like small
Yeah.
things like that. And I think there was great story in I think in Auschwitz or some concentration camp that happened. There was the guy, he was basically he was happy while he was there
Yes, I
for
know who you're
years,
talking
and that
about.
was,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing, he was just basically changing his thoughts,
Yeah.
and he actually lived fulfilled happy life in
Yeah.
concentration camp. And I
Yeah.
always said, people, we have everything now.
Yeah.
Like we have everything, we have access to everything, we
Yeah.
have internet, we have phones, we have cars,
Yeah.
we have shops.
Yeah.
Like when I was young, I remember there was shop, there was never a shop open Saturday. On Saturday was everything closed.
Yeah.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
That means we have so many things that we can use, and we still are not grateful.
Yeah.
That means that's really great that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big topic.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I think it comes back to, how are you living, and what's important to you, and how well do you know yourself? And these are all cliches, and I've heard it all before.
But it's
Carl.
important.
Yeah, but
It's so important. Yeah.
And I think when you talked about all the things we have, because of how I grew up, I pretty much got raised by my grandparents for a lot of my life, and I think with them I learned a lot of things in terms of how they lived, and I would always ask them questions and sit down with them, and just because it was interesting to me. I was just a curious kid, and just you realize how minimal they lived, and living a minimal life, and how it's so important. And that's what I still do to this day. Is I try to, in my day, if I do these things, that will have me satisfied. I'll be happy, and I'll feel like I'm giving back to the world. And if I'm not driving a Ferrari, or if I'm not, on, I'm not top fan on Instagram, all these sorts of things, does that really matter?
Are you?
Oh,
Are you too?
well, I've got a private. No, I'm not. No. But yeah, and so those sorts of things, like, they're goals, and they're all a part of it. And all the things, we've got all these things on our fingertips.
Yeah.
But it's about, you've got to live, in alignment with your heart center, and I believe your soul center, and in what makes you feel fulfilled. Because when you get that car, a week later, it might not make you fulfilled. When you get, that new top fan link, it might not make you fulfilled. Find out what makes you fulfilled.
Yeah. That means when you mentioned that live aligned life, like you need to be aligned with yourself. For some people, because they, like, I believe there's not a lot of people that know what we're talking about. Maybe just kind of explain, if you can, like what that means maybe for you, like how you know that you are aligned.
Yep. Okay. So I guess the first thing that I can think of that comes to mind is when I was doing my photography course, I spoke to the head teacher there, and I said to him, so what happens if, everyone knows about cigarettes and the problems they cause to people's health. What happens if a cigarette company comes to you with a lot of money, and it's going to boost your career off, and and you're kind of in this debate of whether you go and create the most amazing images for this company and do the job, or whether you go, no, this doesn't quite align with me. And so he just said back to me, that's a decision you're going to have to make. And I think that's the biggest thing with alignment, is you actually have to look at yourself and think about yourself, and what's your body, what's your words. When I go to this job, how does my body react? When I talk to this person, are my feet slowly pointing towards the door? Am I slowly shielding off? What are those? Yeah, exactly. What are those things? And that's telling you that speaking to this person all the time is not in alignment with you going to this job.
Give me a second. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have fine.
No, we've got some alignment going. And I think that's, I think it comes with soul searching and sitting down with yourself in quiet, which is very hard in this noisy world.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
Yeah, but if you can do that and sit down and just have a look at, just the best thing I believe is observe yourself. My grandfather, he would always observe at a party, so he'd sit back and he'd have wine and he'd observe everyone, and he was an architect, and he was just great at observing.
That's cool.
And so he'd look at everyone, and I think from that I kind of learned to observe myself and observe how I'm behaving and how I'm reacting, and then you can slowly work out what's aligning with you. When I speak to this person, am I agitated? Okay, that's telling me something.
Yeah. It's actually great when you mentioned that, because I realized sometimes I was doing that kind of thing that I felt like I'm flying,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm watching myself doing things from
Yeah.
like up, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, look at myself. Is this actually what I want to do?
Yeah.
And it's very funny how you can actually see clearly the visual, because you
Yes.
can actually see yourself from outside. You're kind of taking yourself out of your body and you're watching
Yeah.
what is happening.
Yeah.
That's so big.
Yeah.
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 That's actually great. We can probably say, just people, you need to try it,
Yeah.
because I think it's amazing. And Kyle said that.
Yeah.
I have experience as well. That means
Yes.
definitely something that works. That means if you are not sure about things, just get out of your body
Yeah.
and just really watch yourself from distance, I guess.
Yeah.
And you probably, if I understand correctly, that alignment is probably some kind of integrity, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Definitely.
it's based on that you're making decisions, because you know that it's not aligned. Like, that's probably not what you want to do, because you don't
Yep.
smoke. You are against that because it's causing actually harm to
Yep.
people. That basically, it's kind of, yeah, for me, probably that's maybe a good word as well for people, how to start to
Yep.
recognize that you are actually aligned, is to really live and be and have highest value, I guess,
Yeah.
integrity
Yeah.
for your life.
Yeah, and we're all so different, and that's the I guess another big thing is that we're all, you know, unique human beings and unique souls, and I really believe in the soul. And when you're talking about getting out of your body there, you know, like my grandmother and her brother, they had this experience, both of them, when they went in for surgeries, that they actually floated over their body and they saw their actual
Wow.
body, and then they told the doctors, they said, oh, you use this at this point, you use that at that point, and the doctors were like, what, like, how the hell do you know that? And
Wow.
so you know, that thing, and look, that's very I guess
That's another conversation.
yeah, it's another conversation, and it's an intense, I guess, realization if you haven't traveled to that part of understanding, you know, you have a soul inside you. But I think the biggest thing comes back to knowing yourself, and
Yeah.
you're going to be in integrity and those sorts of values.
Yeah.
When you know yourself, then you can live in better alignment with
Yes.
yourself.
And when you say soul, for some people they don't like the word. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I always say energy,
Yes.
because we are actually energy. And the major thing what we're talking about here, just to really remember, thoughts. Our thoughts are energy, and they're causing all those things that are happening. And if there is something negative, that's usually we are attracting, you know, negative people or negative energy. And I always say that same thing with, like, relationship with money, for example. A lot of people say, like, what is money mindset? You know, what is that? It's like, it's just that. It's just that energy that we have. If we have, it's like relationship. You know, when you have toxic relationship with someone, and that's relationship with money,
Yeah.
that probably that person will try to run away from you, you know, or you will try to run away from that toxic relationship. When you have toxic relationship with money, that means when you think that they are evil,
Yeah.
or they're not good, or people change when they have money, or all
Yeah,
that things,
the relationship
that you
with money,
you
yeah.
unconsciously don't want them. That
Yeah.
means they're going away from you. And I
Yeah.
always said it's just all energy, what we have, what we do, how we behave. And when you are aligned, it's that, like, a perfect energy, and you're attracting the people that you want.
Yep.
You're attracting jobs you want. You're attracting clients. That
Yeah.
happened to me, actually. That was really weird.
Yeah.
I had huge experience with clients. Like,
Oh, wow.
I shift my mindset around money. I shift my mindset about me, and actually how I'm going out, you know, to networkings and all other events and meeting people, and how I'm talking about my business. And I switched that totally, and people coming, and I'm just so busy, and they're just coming. I don't even advertise. And I was just like 6-7 months just advertising all the time, trying to be pushy, you know, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was not coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
exactly.
was waiting on me to change me
Yep.
first, and after that everything kind of came.
Yep.
And I always said I'm so happy you mentioned that, because that's what we want from people.
Yep.
Really start to listen, people like Kyle, you know, like people that have something to say, and can help you to really shift, you know, through the stories from life, from traveling, and from their own experience. Because I think that's huge, you know, like you're writing the book, and everybody says, like, no, everybody's writing book now, but it's so hard. I try to write a book. I don't have enough time and focus. That means it's huge commitment.
Yep.
And we should still, you know, kind of value the books, because books are the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the best way I look at books is, if you're wanting to learn one thing that could take you 5 years to understand, why not read a book that could take you maybe a month or however long?
Yeah.
And so it's that condensed information on that topic, you know. And we know, like, life and the world, everything, it's kind of, it doesn't have an end point. There's so much depth to everything, and understanding all these different things, understanding working out what your relationship with money is. That's a whole
Yeah.
course on its own. That's a whole thing on its own. Working out, energy and understanding energy, and that, what you're giving off, you're going to also receive, and those sorts of things. So, there's so much depth that you have to get into to truly understand things. And there's books that are written on the same topic, and that's because you might align with this person, or you might align with that person, or something, this motivational person might click. And if that thing clicks in your head, that could change your whole life. I mean,
I agree.
yeah, I think it's Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker. He went to a seminar of Jim Rohn's, and Jim Rohn was talking about the speech "Why," the power, like why, why do this, why do that, and that Tony Robbins said that changed his life. So, and maybe he went to 5 other seminars. And another thing you got to understand with a lot of these successful people, or what I learned, with a lot of these successful people, is that they also have coaches, they also have trainers, they have even more. Yeah, exactly.
I have 2 coaches, and I would love to have more if I can.
Yeah, exactly. They're not just there imprinted in life. When you were born, these guys were just there. No, they went and they did personal development. And did they stop after the first one? No. They went to the next one and the next one.
It's so true, because you even coaches are on kind of, on a part of the journey, and you're meeting them the right time. That means there's always the coach that is just a little bit higher, maybe better, or better in something that you're looking for, or in spiritually, somewhere else that can help you to get that one step ahead, or can really guide you somewhere where you want to go. And I think that's so important, because I had actually business coach, and also, I don't know even how to call him, but he's kind of spiritual healer, and it's just so good to have that combination of business and someone more, talking around feelings and different structure around business, like it's coming different way. And I guess that's something what everybody should try, because people usually are in that energy chasing. I want more money, I want to do something, I want clients, and that's,
I want the 5 hacks, I want the 2 steps, I want
exactly. And that's something that, like, a simple business coach can give you, like, to show you the tools, structure. You can do that, but you need someone that will guide you a little bit and stop you, like, hey, that's too much. Maybe people are not prepared for your message. Maybe you need to take some step back, maybe. And sometimes just really think, like, just give them a little bit of your hand, don't give them all arm. It's kind of like, it's really good to have some guidance. And especially now, when it's so many people talking, speaking, and there are so many books, and you really want to be that person that will get, the right audience. Or you will bring the book to the right audience, I would say. And when I'm thinking about kind of like slowly end of our conversation, what will be something, what you would like to share with people, when it's something that that you can help them right now, or where is some message that you would like to tell?
Very good question again. I mean, I've got this theory, and I don't think it's mine. I think everything's borrowed and taken and learned from different inspirations in our world.
That's a good point.
And this theory of, I think we come into the world and we have everything. We know everything. We have all the tools, but it's kind of like it's under this layer of dust, or this layer of dirt, and we have to uncover it bit by bit, and we have to learn. Again, we have to learn who we are. We have to learn these different things about us, because it's all internal. We all have it in here. We all have those feelings of love, those feelings of strong, caring about people and wanting to do something great. Everyone has this feeling of, I want to be productive. I want to get better at something today than I was yesterday. That's just an internal thing that we have inside of us. So I believe you come here and you have all this in you, and it's just about slowly scratching away at the core of who you are and uncovering more of yourself, and that's where you come into your true alignment.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. And maybe just announce what is the plan with the book, when that will be out, just to be sure people know.
I guess it's all out there in the open now. So so I've got my rough draft date is the 21st of this month, so 21st of October, and my published date is the 21st of December, and they're the dates that I'm working towards.
Very close.
Very close, very soon. And it's probably about 3 hours a day I'm writing. I mean, I put a stopwatch on to kind of count how much writing I've done for the day.
Awesome.
But like you said, it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of you're just getting through a lot of things that you will eventually cut to get to the core.
Yeah, I found it hard because I wrote the book when I was like 11, but it
Yeah.
was like my story, you know, for like I just
Dedication.
wanted to write about
Yeah.
like dance school because I was just all about dancing
Yeah,
and I
awesome.
was so much in love with, I think there was Flash Dance movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
watched it when I was young. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I just really want to have dance school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I wrote it because I was in love with that kind of topic, you know,
Yes.
but after that, that was probably 5, 6 years ago. I tried to write a book and I realized it's so hard because I tried to write around my life, like my story.
Yeah.
And you get confused because you don't know what you put already in a book, on a paper.
Yeah.
If you already mentioned that, you know, it's really hard to, I guess, to do that timeline. And I get confused and I was like, okay, I can't do it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It was pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tap into it at some point.
Yeah, I
Someone needs
definitely
that story
won't.
and that message.
Oh, it's just so many things that happened. That's why
Yeah.
I try, because it was just a huge just experience, you know, when I was
Yeah.
in Thailand and Bahamas, and just a kind of like putting that together, like
Yeah.
like how it is, you know, when you girl, you know, you put yourself out there alone, you're traveling, you don't even have any idea about
Yeah.
cultures and
Yeah.
people. There's definitely something that people can probably learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some girl who's traveling around those areas
Yeah.
is reading your book while she's.
And
Yeah.
that's always good when you find someone who actually did same, and it's
Yes.
just kind of like a guide.
Yeah. Yeah. It matters to you more, and it means something
Yeah.
more, and you can pull things from it a lot easier.
Definitely,
They
yeah.
speak your language.
Yeah. And that will be probably the same with your book, and I can't wait to read it. And I
Yes.
hope you will bring me one.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You'll be getting a copy.
I ordered already. That means,
Yes.
guys, you will probably will be able to order soon. And Carl will share the link later
Yes.
on with
Yeah.
us, that you can probably buy it, through
Yeah.
Amazon or maybe some kind of link, maybe from your
Amazon.
website.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. And if somebody wants to connect with you, where they can find you, or do you have any website or contact or Facebook or?
Yes, I mean, probably one of the most direct and I respond most to would be my Instagram, which is Kyle_Spyrides. So Kyle
No,
Spyrides.
Spyrides. You need to
Yes.
tell. You need to say it in English.
Yes, sorry. Spyrides.
Yes.
Spyrides.
Thank you very much for clarifying.
Yes, no, that's okay. It's a complex one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, direct there, or if anyone wants to contact me to find out more, my email is kyle@soulgazing.com.au.
Great.
So open to chat to people and meet people. I think that's the point of being on this planet.
Yeah, and I hope I will see you next time on some stage.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy our interview and our chat. I would love to invite Kyle again. We will get deeper into some things that we didn't mention. We didn't have enough time.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you very much for your time. It was really lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Alex. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
See you
Cheers.
next time.